In line with that, in all seriousness, let me just say that I hope that the cities of China can benefit from this translation, just as I expect policymakers in New York City to study and learn from successes in China and in the rest of the world. What we learn from such greater collaboration will also inform our third strategy, making the C40 Climate Group nothing less than the most authoritative source for information and analysis on all the climate change actions taking place in the world's great cities. I've learned in my career that if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And that's true in business as well as in government. Only by regularly and rigorously measuring and analyzing our efforts can we learn what works, what doesn't, and why, and then take more affirmative action. So over the next 2 years, we will concentrate on producing precisely such data and analysis. We will, for example, provide comparative analysis of cities with similar characteristics so that we can learn more easily from one another. We'll identify where policies and practices successful in one city can be most readily replicated in others. And that will help us collaborate with each other and cooperate with non-governmental organizations and philanthropies, and more effectively work with our national governments. We'll also make a concerted effort to let the world know what C40 and its member cities are doing. And this systematic effort will communicate a very important message, I think, to the rest of the world, that even as other levels of government may falter in meeting their climate responsibilities, or may sidestep them altogether, the world's cities are pragmatically rising to the challenge. This will raise our visibility and credibility on the world stage, and it will help us fill the void of global leadership and attract the assistance, including the financing, that our cities so desperately need to meet our goals. But nothing will enhance our visibility and credibility more than our fourth and final strategy for the next 2 years, setting high standards and holding ourselves accountable to meeting them. By joining C40, each of our cities has made a commitment to action, a commitment that must be matched by an equal willingness to be judged by our progress and be 100% accountable. So let's publicly identify all the initiatives that we're taking. Let's engage each other in advancing them. Let's set clear, quantifiable benchmarks for implementing them. And let's regularly and openly assess our experience with them. Now, not everything we do over the next 2 years is going to be a success. In fact, if all of our efforts ended in triumph, I would suggest that we're not setting our sights high enough. And we will be as open and honest when we miss our targets as when we hit them dead on, because such candid reporting establishes an inevitable baseline of information for future actions by our cities and other cities around the world. And it will do something more. Our transparency will give people everywhere confidence that cities, the level of government closest to the majority of people on Earth, have the foresight and the courage to confront the greatest challenges that humanity has ever created for itself. My colleagues, the best scientific data tells us that it is long past time to address that challenge. And the best demographic data tells us that cities must lead the way. Because as the world's population grows, the global pace of urbanization continues to accelerate. Just consider these facts. Only a century ago, 1 in 10 of the world's people were city dwellers. Today, it's estimated by the year 2050, almost 3/4 of the people in the world will make their homes in cities. A generation ago, China's urban population was roughly 170 million people. Today, it is more than 3 times that. And as recently as 1950, only one of the world's metropolitan areas, that of my own New York City, had a population greater than 10 million people. Today, there are 17 such megacities, 11 of them right here in Asia. This rapid urbanization has produced difficult and often dire challenges in housing, sanitation, and public health. And the intense burning of fossil fuels in the world's cities not only contributes to climate change, it also clogs their streets, pollutes their air, and shortens the lives of millions of residents. But history also tells us that cities also create the resources and unleash the technology that can solve these very problems and lead to greater prosperity. There is, in fact, a virtuous, self-reinforcing cycle linking urbanization, prosperity, and sustainability. And we can see that today in cities that have already started to become more energy efficient and less polluting. The residents of such low-carbon cities already enjoy longer, healthier lives. And the steps that we take to reduce reliance on fossil fuel by power plants, by autos, and also in heating and cooking in individual homes will substantially improve the quality of the air in our cities' most densely populated and often its poorest districts. Some will tell us that we can't afford to sacrifice growth to protect our environment. But that argument ignores the far too long, unaccounted and devastating economic, environmental, and human costs of a wasteful fossil fuel dependence. It also overlooks the economic opportunities that the development of green technology will create. So, in fact, going green is the only path to long-term prosperity that we have. In the arts and sciences, in culture and commerce, cities around the world have for centuries fired human imaginations and unlocked human creativity. The restless, enterprising spirit fostered in the world's cities launched the process that today knits us into one global community. It also holds out the promise of our finding common solutions to the challenges posed by climate change. And now, by meeting the challenges posed by climate change, the cities of our world, led by the C40 group, can ensure that our global community will not only survive, it will flourish. And that must be our goal. And I'm honored by this opportunity to work with all of you in helping make that reality come true during the next 2 years. Thank you very much. We have a lot of work ahead of us. Let's get on with it.